Recite my prayers. Om Swastiastu.
Om Swastiastu.
Om Awitanamastu Namosidam. Om Sidirastu Tatastu. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and of course the jury and any audience that might be watching. First of all, I think as the last one presenting, I feel like I'm obliged to appreciate each one of you that have presented before me. I think you've done so well, and I feel myself enlightened for every one of your speeches. Can we give a round of applause for everyone here? Very good, very good, very good. Now, firstly, of course, allow me to extend my praise and gratitude to Sang Rasa for bringing us all here today. May blessings come from all directions and all corners. So, my name is Dana, and I'm from Depok. And I'd like to tell you guys a story. This story was when I was younger, so forgive me if it's a bit mistaken in the details, but it goes as follows. There was a family of Brahmanas in India, somewhere in the village far away, and they were very virtuous. They had lived very virtuous lives. They gave everything they had. They held no material wealth, and they served their community faithfully for many, many years. Unfortunately, they served so much that they eventually became poor. So much so that one day, at dinner, they were only left with a single ladle of rice porridge to share with the whole family. They were starving, so of course they recited their prayers and they wanted to eat. But right then and there, a beggar, and in fact a starving beggar, came into the house. He knocked and he pleaded to the family. He said that, "Oh guys, please give me food. If I do not get any food, I might not survive the night. Please, just a single ladle of porridge will do." Now, of course, this is a dilemma. This family was starving and they had helped so many people before. So, of course, why should they give their last ladle? But their father said, "Well, if we don't eat tonight, we can still eat tomorrow. But this beggar might die today. So let's give him the last ladle of porridge." So pure and so sincere was this act of giving that at that very moment, they ascended to Surgaloka. And right then and there, the starving beggar welcomed them to the gates. And he was none other than the king of the gods, Dewa Indra himself. This story inspired me as a child. It showed how much sincerity and kindness was held in such high contempt in Hinduism. It showed how much charity and how much Dana Punia is so important. But what is so important really? And why is it called Dana Punia? And why should we do Dana Punia? These are the questions that I would like to talk about in my Dharma Wacana. It is about the essence of Dana Punia, both in the Skala and in the Skala. So, ladies and gentlemen, have you ever given a charity? Statistics says that if there are 10 adults, unfortunately there's only one adult, the rest is teenagers. 10 adults, 9 of them are very, very likely to give a charity. And this is a staggeringly high rate. In fact, it's the highest in the world. Indonesia is ranked the most charitable country in the whole world for 6 years in a row. And of course, most of the charity comes from our Muslim brothers and sisters. It also comes from the Christians and the Confucians and the Buddhists. But I believe that this is something we practice as a Hindu too. I mean, take a look at the Muslim majority countries in the world. Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Pakistan. These countries are some of the lowest charitable nations in the world. But you know who else has high charitability like us? India. I believe that the charitability of Indonesia does not come from religion, but it comes from the culture. How much we as a culture appreciate the importance of charity. And that culture comes deeply rooted from the Hindu faith. And in fact, it comes from the word of Dana Punia itself. You know, in India, they don't call it Dana Punia. They only call it Dana, because Dana means charity. But here, we call it Dana Punia, because Punia means sincere. And Dana Punia means that we don't just give, but we give it sincerely and asking for no return. And this is why the essence of it comes not just from the giving or the material or the skala aspect, but also from the sincerity, the niskala, the unseen immaterial growth. So, ladies and gentlemen, in this age of capitalism, well, money makes the world go round. You can't live without money, and if you want to build a quota, if you want to build anything, if you want to eat, you want to drink, well, you need money. But sometimes it makes us forget that if we ask our great-great-grandfathers, when they were maintaining their own puras in their villages, they never needed money. It was a communal effort. Everybody worked together, and they gave their food, they gave their labor and everything. And this is a great point because Dana Punia is, sometimes we forget that it's not about the money. And there are 3 different kinds of Dana Punia. Well, actually there's 4, but I collected one of them into 2. So basically the first one, of course, is material wealth. We all know this, money, or anything, maybe we donate food or donate drinks. But there's also the mind and body as well. This means that we give labor, we give our minds away. This could mean a lot of things, I mean, even participating in Utsawa Dharma Gita is a form of Dana Punia. Because you're using your mind, you sacrifice your mind for this. Judging as judges for an English Dharma Gita is also a form of Dana Punia because you're sacrificing your time and your mind to work and serve the community. And so this is just as important. And the third one is, of course, the feeling. This is a bit weird, but believe it or not, it's not just the mind, but it's also the feeling counts as Dana Punia. I have a little story about this. It's a story, it's from Bali TV, but I'll try to recite it. So, there was a Mapura somewhere, and they were going in a donation box, and they were giving out, like they were asking for money, right? And there was this one guy, he checked all his pockets, and he didn't have any money. So, he decided that he's just going to smile. So he did, he smiled. And then one of the guys asked, "Brother, what in Sakyong's name are you doing, bro?" And everybody laughed at him because, why is he just smiling and not giving money, right? But it made everyone's day. And at the end of the day, the fact that you can make people's day, the fact that you can make people comfortable in the world, that's also a form of Dana Punia. So, you might be thinking now that, okay then, if that's a form of Dana Punia, I'll never give money to Guru ever again. I'll just smile and it makes sense and I'll be richer because I don't have to give money, right? But unfortunately, that's wrong. Because that's just the skala, the material aspect of Dana Punia. There is also the niskala and why Dana Punia is so important. To elaborate more on this, I have a saying from Gita. It's from chapter 17, sloka 20. The context is Krishna is explaining to Arjuna what is the difference between a sattvika, a rajasi, and a tamasi. And here in sloka 20, he's speaking about sattvika and its connection with the giving of charity. It reads as follows: Datyavam itiya danam dimahe dupakarine desakala chapatrecha yadanam sattvikam smartam. It translates as follows: give to charity with full sincerity and with expecting nothing in return. Give the charity to the right person, the right time, and at the right place. This is called sattvika. So, ladies and gentlemen, our faith is a surprisingly very logical faith. And there are 2 main points from this sloka. Firstly, the fact that sincerity is very important. And second of all, there is desa, kala, and patra, the right time, the right place, and the right person. These 2 are central in understanding what is important in the niskala. So let's talk about sincerity. I'm sure you remember about the story I said before about the beggar and the family. Sincerity is important in Hinduism. But why is it? To explain this, we need to understand that Hinduism believes in the aspects of energy and vibrations. These two are very central. And maybe you've heard of this idiom in English. It says, birds of the same feather flock together. It means, well, birds that have the same feather, well, they tend to go together, right? And this makes sense in Hinduism, because people with the same energy and the same vibration tend to attract the same people with the same energy and vibrations, and they tend to attract the same people and the same circumstances of good vibrations and good energy. What this means is, this is called the law of attraction. And it means that, well, it's like karma pala. If you do good things will come to you. And this is extremely important for Dana Punia, because Dana Punia is a powerful, powerful tool of attracting good energy and good vibrations. Because, well, charity, if done sincerely, is so pure and has so much good energy that, well, of course, the universe will have to repay you back in some way or form. And you may not believe me, because, well, this is something that you have to feel to believe. But there's something that you might know, that you might believe, that, well, wealth is not permanent. One day you could be rich, and the next day you could be poor. One day you could be poor, and then one day you're viral on TikTok and you're a millionaire. These things can happen, and it means that the world is a circle of karma and a circle of energy and vibrations, and that, well, we can control that by spreading good energy and good vibes. One of them is, of course, by doing punya. Now let's talk about the second part, desa, kala, and patra. Well, here's a question: what's the difference between giving Bill Gates $10 billion right now and giving to your pura 100,000 rupiah? These are very different, because of course giving 10 billion to Bill Gates is kind of useless because he's already rich. But giving money to the pura, especially when it's having a project, is extremely important. This is because the desa, kala, and patra much more fits in the pura than in Bill Gates. So there are two rules of thumb here. Firstly, it's the fact that the best Dana Punia is Dana Punia done closest to you, because the closer they are, the greater energy and vibration they have. So, of course, you can give to a cause that's very deep to your heart, like general equality or anything else. But what's more deeper than that is, of course, giving to your family, giving to your pura. These are all very important points that are very much higher energy and vibration. And of course, second of all is, what do you call it? The second point is the fact that you must give it to those who needs it. So time is a very key essence, and which means that, of course, you can give to a cause that might need help right now, and that has much higher energy and vibrations than just any random cause that you might give just willy-nilly, like the Bill Gates example. So, yes, that's the two rules of thumb, and believe me when I say that if you follow these rules of thumb and you understand the point of the Dharma, you can bring so many good things in your life. I think to close this, I'd like to just try to wrap everything up. It doesn't matter how much money you have. What matters is what you can do with it. Money is not permanent. And to give back to the universe, to give back to the people closest to you, is an important aspect of life. And Dana Punia is that answer. If you don't have money, you have your body. And if you have your body, you have your mind. And if you have your mind, you have your feelings. All of this and more is what makes Dana Punia so important in the Skala and the Skala. Thank you for listening, everyone. Sorry if I had any misgivings or miswords. Thank you very much for listening. Om Dewa Suksma Paramana Cintya Yanam Swaha. Om Santi Santi Santi.